Welcome, ladies and gents, to podcast number 28 with your boy Angelo. Breaking news. It looks like Burning Bridges has been taken as a podcast name. What the fuck, right? Now, I did a little research, and it's become a podcast only like 4 or 5 months ago. So I could have kept the name. But what are you going to do? Another name that I've been thinking about is Bustin' Balls with Angelo. You know, Bustin' Chops with Angelo. The Jabroni Hour, something like that. You know, Jabronis and Mooks. The Fanoke Fun Hour. You know, something like that. I don't know. I think they're all pretty stupid. But what are you going to do? I tell you, my stomach's been upset today. I don't know what's going on. I've had these bag of onions for a couple weeks. And I probably have 3 a week. But they're getting pretty old. I had one this morning. Tasted fine, but, you know, I kind of feel like poopy gut. I did go out for a nice jog this morning, even though it was freezing. But, you know, you get warmed up pretty quickly. And, you know, I hate jogging. I hate running. But it's good to get your heart rate up, especially in COVID times. And it's sunny out. It's actually beautiful outside. But, Jesus, I hate running. I hate it. I don't know if I would survive long out in the wilds if I didn't have a nice warm house to go home to. Like, if society ever collapses, you know, in 2022, like it looks like it's going to, and everyone's out on their own, surviving an apocalypse, I bet I got a good month in me before I die. I don't know. I'm trying to build up my endurance, trying to build up my balance, trying to build up my cardio ability, so that I can jog 100 yards without feeling like I'm going to puke. And, you know, side note, does anybody else experience this when they're doing anything rigorous, running, jogging, swimming? It doesn't matter. Anything where you're constantly moving and you're breathing hard and you're about ready to collapse. I feel like I have to spit a lot, but it's not just regular, you know, your run-of-the-mill saliva, if you will. This stuff is like thick, mucusy. But it's not, you know, it's not like the same consistence of when you have the flu or a cold or something, or like your sinuses are draining, or you know, got allergies. It's a certain kind of saliva that I only get when I'm exercising or when my heart rate is really up. So I don't know what it is. My stupid poo-poo brain likes to think that those are calories or fat that has somehow been turned into spit. And I know that's not true. You know, next time I'll talk to my doctor about this. Maybe she knows what's up. But yeah. I felt good. Came home, had some water. I just took a nice hot shower. But I tell you, my gut's is killing me. And I have to either blame the onions or you know what? It could have been a wild card. It could have been these sweet potatoes. Now, I'm getting a little heat from one of my friends that I was talking mad shit about cauliflower a couple podcasts ago. And I stand by it. Fuck you, cauliflower. But what I failed to do is talk about my most loved vegetables. And if we're talking about Angelo's top vegetables, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about sweet potatoes. I love those orange fucks. I really do. I'm pretty sure sweet potatoes are vegetables. You know what? Before I sound too stupid, let's see. Are sweet potatoes vegetables?
Here's a summary from NHS.
Yeah, gotcha. Yes, they are. I also would put onions, peppers, garlic, of course. Well, fuck, I love a lot of, now I'm thinking about it, anything that's like leafy green I like. Spinach, arugula, you know, lettuce, couldn't think of the word lettuce, cabbage. You know, I could keep going. So it's easier for me to whittle down the vegetables that I don't like. So let's just put it this way. I think I like all vegetables besides those turncoat traitorous cauliflower. Asparagus, I'm 50-50 on. Same thing with Brussels sprouts. I could eat those too, but it has to be with something else. It has to be either in a pasta or a salad or some kind of breakfast dish. I can't eat it on its own. And of course, cucumbers, pickles, and celery get fucked. So yeah, and fruit. Now there's the wild card. Now there's one where it's really very difficult for me to kind of figure out the fruit because I've cut down on fruit. It was one of the main, not the main, but like the number 3 food that I had to cut down on a couple of years ago when I found out how I could lose weight better and how it could be healthier, blah, 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 blah. It's when I was going to the doctor and the nutritionist, durka. Anywho, the first one was sugar, second one was carbs, duh. And then those were like near the damn top. But, number 3, which, still down the ladder a little ways, was fruit. And I was stunned. I love fruit. I was eating fruit all the time. Well, my fat fuck body has too much insulin in it. Thanks, genetics. Especially you, the Italian genetics. Ya mook. And so, I've never been a fan of fruit juice. It always tastes like sugar water to me, which, spoiler alert, it basically is. And so, I don't eat much fruit anymore. But when I do, oh, I love it. I love it. But don't have it a lot in the house. And I can't even really say what my favorite fruits are because I like them all. Then you get the weird ones. Well, they're only weird for Western cultures because, we don't have dragon fruit or papayas. I mean, we have papayas, but I've never really had one. Kiwis, I don't know what the big hype's about. Same thing with grapefruit. I've tried grapefruit so many times. And what's that one that palm juice is made out of? It's that red shit that you kind of break apart and it looks like it's got little spores in it. What the hell is that one called? Oh, God, and pomegranate, duh. It's in the name palm. Pomegranates, overrated. I tell you, it's not a vegetable or a fruit, but still a foodage that I've grown on, is turmeric. Now, and I think I pronounced it wrong because there's 2 R's. Turmeric. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The orange powdery shit. It's so good. It's almost like a cinnamon, except it's not as harsh. It's more of a sweeter, sugary cinnamon. And it's got a bunch of health benefits. Now, I went through a stage where I was putting it in everything, and I'm kind of backed off that, and I should probably get back into it. In fact, you know what I'll do? Next latte I make, which my lattes have been getting banger since I figured it out. And I'm going to throw a little bit of turmeric in that next latte instead of vanilla syrup. Because, the vanilla syrup's very unhealthy, but I don't use a lot. I use a little dash. Anything that can be described as having a dash of something, it's not that unhealthy for you. Oh, I just had a dash of sugar, dash of chocolate, a dash of whatever. I've talked myself into a corner. I can't think of anything else that's unhealthy for you, and even doing a little bit. I mean, it's sugar, basically. And I tell you, what's been the bane of my existence for a long time, and I tend to have control issues, but then other times I can control myself. See, let me back up here before I start going off on more items here. My biggest weakness is portion control. And that was one of the major tenets of my new health initiative in my life. Like, I will never call it a diet because a diet to me implies that it has an end date. This is never going to end for me. This is the way I eat now. And one of the ways that I'm trying to lose weight and be healthier is portion control. It's always been a problem in the family. And I would argue the mass majority of Americans, we lack the ability to have portion control. When I went overseas and ate, everything was much smaller sizes, and I thought, this ain't going to fill me up. But you know what? It did fill me up. Yeah, I may have gotten hungry, an hour or two later, but that's just my fat American body not used to it. So, the last couple of years, I've been putting an emphasis on portion control. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that not only am I trying to cut down the amount of food that I eat, but also I'm not going to even buy the food that I know I have a hard time controlling myself on. Top of the list is the bakery. Anything that comes from the bakery. I cannot even, if I'm shopping, I can't even go near the bakery section because I will buy everything. If I see a cinnamon roll, a croissant, a cake, a pie, scones, danishes, I could keep going. And if I could line them all up in a nice, what do the pigs eat out of? A trough. And I put my hands behind my back and I will just go ham, man. I will just go to town. And I don't care what I look like when I'm eating those things. I don't think I breathe. Sometimes I just shove the whole thing in my mouth and I swallow it whole like a shark. I don't think I chew it. No, I take that back. Sharks do chew. I think ducks and certain other birds, they just swallow things whole. Have you ever seen a crane or a heron just swallow a whole frog or a toad? You're like, damn. Anyway, getting off topic here. So, portion control has been my biggest weakness. but I've gotten it somewhat under control because I have lost, I'd have to look back at my initial start weight a couple of years ago, but I know I've lost at least 40 or 50 pounds. I would say closer to 40. 50 seems like a lot to me. If I find my journal from like 3-4 years ago and I see what my weight was then and what my weight is now, and it's 50 pounds, oh, the celebration that I will have will outdo all of it. I will gain all those 50 pounds back because I will just go on a food bender for fucking a week because I deserve this. Because that's another of my problems is I think I deserve treats. I tell myself, you've done good for X amount of time. You deserve a little treat. The problem is sometimes I feel like I deserve 2 or 3 treats a day. Like I wake up, I cook a nice healthy breakfast, and I go out for a jog. And let's say I get that all done by 11 o'clock. Well, by noon, I'm like, I feel pretty good. I think I deserve a treat. So, I'll make myself a latte, and then I'll get my work done. And then it's probably 3 o'clock. And I'm like, you know what? I've done good today. I've had a nice healthy breakfast. I got my work done. I exercised. I'm going to have a little treat. And then it's a handful of chocolate. And then it's 7 o'clock. And I look back at my day and say, well, I did it pretty good. I got my work done. I went down, exercised, had a healthy breakfast. I had a small lunch. I'm going to have an ice cream sandwich. That's been the problem. And to be honest with you, I have kind of started going back to those bad habits the last month or so. It's a constant battle. It's a constant battle. You see, I'm almost like I'm Ukraine and portion control is Russia. We're always butting heads. And the portion control is always thinking it's got me. I'm part of it. I need to do whatever it says. And I'm always like, fuck you, portion control. You have your own land to take care of. Don't bother me. Go bother somebody else, So it's been an ongoing battle. And the 2 things that have been killing me for a long time, but I always buy them because it's a constant experiment with me, is Trader Joe's dark chocolate peanut butter cups. It's their Reese's Pieces. And their ice cream sandwiches. No. These aren't just regular ice cream sandwiches. These are thick boy ice cream sandwiches. I'm talking, I would say three solid inches of solid vanilla with chocolate chips in it ice cream. Well, Angelo, what are the sandwiches made out of? I'm going to get to it. The sandwich part is chocolate chip cookies. I know. There's only 4 in a box. And I'm not too proud to say there's been some times where I kill the whole box in a day. Other times, I kill the box in 2 days. My goal is to have 1 a day. And if I could make those 4 sandwiches last 7 days, even better. Now, I've rarely done that. But between the peanut butter cups and the ice cream sandwiches, portion control is damn near impossible. However, I'm not going to let it get the better of me. I know some of you are thinking, well, Angelo, just don't buy them. You don't buy other things. Why do you torture yourself? Because I don't like to give up. Now, if I could have these things in my house and still be responsible because I love these so much, then that's the perfect balance. Now, I used to have, speaking now on the peanut butter cups, I used to probably have 8 of those a day. Insanity. And now I've cut it down to 4 or 5 a day. Baby steps. Eventually, I want to get it down to no more than 4 a day. Now, some of you are thinking, that's easy. Well, for you, it's easy, cocksucker, but for me, it's difficult. Now, anything below 4, you're wasting your time. Why even eat 1? But anything over 5, now you're starting to get a little problem because then it starts affecting your gut. Then the next morning when you're taking your morning deuce, it doesn't feel too good. I don't need to go into specifics. Now, another key element here is cutting off any kind of food intake whatsoever past a certain time. For me, I don't like to eat past 8 o'clock. So no late night snacks. And that's hard for me because, I like the ganja and sometimes I get the munchies. Now, again, I've been slacking here and there. And I fool myself by saying, well, you did eat at 9:30 last night, but they were veggie sticks. Those aren't unhealthy. True. These Trader Joe's veggie sticks, by the way, I feel like Trader Joe's should be sponsoring me. I feel like I talk about Trader Joe's a lot. So you hear me, Uncle Trader Joe's? Sign your boy up. I bet I could get you a few more customers. I'm thinking 3. Anyhow, so it's an ongoing battle. Feel free to tell me what food you struggle with, what's your issues, and I'm not going to tell you I can help you, but sometimes it's good just to kind of vent, and I'll be a listening sponge. I'll just soak it all in. I'm honestly surprised I've kept as much weight off as I have during quarantine, but even more so during the last month and a half, because I don't know if I went over this, and I'm sure I have on this podcast, but I'm in a weight loss challenge with a bunch of my buddies, and the loser has to get a tattoo of the whole group's choosing. So a lot of MAGA tattoos are getting thrown around, and I would hate to get, well, I take that back. I wouldn't refuse getting a MAGA tattoo if I lost, because I lost. And I feel like depending on where the MAGA tattoo is and what kind of MAGA tattoo it is, if I get one, at least it's a funny story. Because I would tell people, no, I hate Trump, I hate all that shit, but I lost a bet, and this is what I had to get. My friends are savages. That has a good story to it. Maybe in a couple decades, when they're putting MAGA voters in cages, I won't be so lucky. Some people actually think that. Some of those MAGA idiots truly think that once Biden and Kamala Harris, they're going to start putting people in these camps for re-education just because you voted for Donald Trump and you're a supporter. Insanity. I also have some friends who think that if Bernie Sanders, anyone from that yoke, the progressive socialists or progressive Democrats, whatever you want to call them, if they ever get in power, they're going to put Christians in camps. Are you out of your mind? I feel like if you are getting that worked up and conspiratorial over nonsense like that, you got to look at your intake habits of what media you're intaking. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but they're not conspirial. It's mostly news, science, and comedy. Those are my podcasts. And I try to bring a little bit of that here. I've tried to cut back on the politics, not because I didn't think that my audience was liking it. When I say my audience, I mean all 12 of you. But I can still get into it. But yeah, if you start thinking these wild things like the vaccine that is going to cure COVID, it's all fake. How are they going to send it out so fast? How do they make it so fast? We can't cure cancer, but they can cure COVID in a year? No, I ain't taking it. You're fucking crazy. But no judgment. Well, I will judge you, but I won't tell you about it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling here. What was my point about the vaccine? And yeah. You gotta look at what you're listening to. What are you intaking? Like if you're listening to Ted Cruz or Rush Limbaugh podcasts, what I want you to do is find an area where there's 2 trees relatively close to one another and kind of tie barbed wire from one tree to the other at the same level of where your head would be if you were driving to it. And then get in a car that has the top down and drive as fast as you can towards the barbed wire. And if you did it right, the barbed wire should cut your head clean off. I've seen enough movies. I know how it's done. So just do that because you're killing yourself already. Listen to that nonsense. Anyhow, well, what a great way to open up the podcast with 20 minutes of me rambling about nothing. But let's move on to other things, namely my notes, because as I said the last podcast, I really haven't been going over my notes the last month or so of podcast, going over the Angelo Grosso history of romance and the last podcast covering my short history of nonviolence, basically. So let's open this puppy up and see what we got in here. Yeah, all that talk about a latte and turmeric. I had to go make myself a turmeric latte. I tell you, it tastes pretty good. But the main problem with this turmeric powder I got is that it's hard to break up. Even if you kind of put it on a spoon and kind of tap it with your finger to kind of break it up, the consistency of it is still a little chunky boy. So I'm still stirring the mofo. So if you hear this, you can even hear that, I don't know. It's me trying to break up these turmeric balls. Okay, so let's go through these notes here. Let's see. First one off the top here. The Chernobyl dating scene around here thanks to COVID. Not that I'm a stunner or anything. That may have been the impetus for me to start the history of romance thing because, yeah, I tell you, again, I don't want to ever talk poorly about some people's physical attributes, if you will, But some people, you have to recognize what you look like. Now, again, I don't consider myself a good looking guy. I say just on the physical scale, 1 to 10 decimals in play, I would say I'm in the 6s. But I would say since I've lost a little weight and trimmed my beard a little bit, got my hair under control, and I've dressed a little bit better, I would say I'm probably a 6.7, 6.7. But my personality bumps me up to the 7s. So I would say put me all together, I'm pushing an 8. I'm still in the 7s, but I think I'm like a 7.7, 7.8. So some of these people, unfortunately, that I've seen on the dating app, they're solid 3s and 4s. And I am sorry that the good Lord didn't kiss you with the attractiveness lips and instead punted you down the ugly tree and you had every branch down. It sucks. It does. I wish there was a dating app for uggos. Just call it Uggo. And some of you are thinking, God damn, Angela, you're a real piece of shit. No, I'm just being real. I think you need to realize what you look like. It's just like, I had a very good friend back in the day, great guy, but his breath reeked. His breath smelled like the bubonic plague. And no matter what you could tell him, he just would never fix it. So, what are you going to do? It hits you down a few rungs. And so, I've gone on dates where it's reversed, where the girl is like an 8 or a 9, but the personality is a 3 or a 4 because they can get away with that. Uggo. If my dream girl would probably be a 6 like me, physical-wise, personality bumps her up to 7 or an 8. That's what I want. I don't feel like that's asking too much. But some of these people, they look like burn victims, and they're asking for the moon and the stars. Oh, I know I'm 5'1" and I weigh 250 and my face looks like honeycomb, but I'm only looking for guys who are over 6'3". They have a job. And they're going to treat me like the queen that I am. Are you out of your fucking mind? No. So, the whole point of that rant, I believe, was to just make people self-aware of what's going on with themselves. Or there's a hidden nuclear power plant somewhere around Auburn that I don't know, and it's been leaking into the air, and that's why everyone looks like Chernobyl victims. By the way, if you've never seen the HBO miniseries Chernobyl, very depressing. The first couple episodes are. And I take it back, the whole thing is pretty depressing, but it's an amazing show. But what that radiation did to so many people was so gut-wrenchingly sad. And then I go on these dating apps and I see that the people that look like that, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be drinking the tap water around here. I know, guys, I'm such an asshole. I know. Okay, moving on. Why do the British have such bad teeth? I've never seen a British person with braces. It's true, I haven't. Let's see. What? Okay, I'm sorry, this stuff doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to remember when I was writing this. Because my ex-girlfriend she never lived in London, but she was dating a guy in London. She was there a lot, and she had to go to a dentist in London. And I jokingly said, what do they just do? Hit you in the mouth until all your teeth fall out, and that's dental health in London? Okay, it's a bad joke. I'm stumbling and bumbling here. But it is kind of stupid that in 2020, the British still have bad teeth. What the fuck's wrong with you people? I understand it's a tired cliche, like all Americans are fat and loud and bossy. All Italians are borderline rapists. All Greeks are hairy. All French surrender right away. Spanish are great lovers. And I could go down the list. But one of the main things about British people is they got fucked up teeth. And I thought for sure, the last couple decades they had to get it straightened out. Nope. I forget what I was watching, but I was watching something that was taking place in London, and the amount of janky ass mouths that I saw on that show, I'm like, I thought they had a socialized medicine there. Do they not have socialized dentistry out there? It's insanity. And it's not a culture thing. Don't give me that bullshit. And I understand British food is awful, and when vinegar is your best condiment, it may be fucking up your teeth. I don't know. So, British people, figure it out. All right, moving on. If a woman is too attractive, in my opinion, and she is talking or flirting with me or telling me nice things, I instantly mistrust her and I feel like it's a scam. Yep, that's still true. That's still true. I still feel that way. I don't think I ever won't feel that way, to be honest with you, because it's I know I was just going off the rails about the uggos on the dating app, but then you get to the women who are obvious 10 out of 10s, just purely off the physical spectrum. And then you look, well, are the pictures filtered? Because the amount of filtered photos on online dating is insane. They're like, they somehow make their hips so not real looking. Like their hips almost look like an hourglass, and then they make their butt just ginormous, and their legs are good, and their eyes are all anime looking. I'm like, you don't even look fucking human. If I saw someone like that walking up to me and I had a shovel, I would beat them to death because I would think they were a monster or an alien trying to probe my asshole. So when I see some photo or a profile that doesn't have any filtered photos and all the girl just looks like that, and I'm like, whatever, I like to torture myself, and I say yes, and they say yes back, I instantly mistrust them. I think, shit, she's too attractive to be talking to me. I bet she's going to do a few things here. She's going to ask me for money. She's going to want me to subscribe to her OnlyFans. She's going to want to send me her Google Drive of a bunch of porno photos. That's going to fuck up my computer or my phone, and China and Russia will be spying on me more than America does already. Or they're going to want to come over, and then they're going to come over with like a bunch of goons in the back. They're going to beat me up and rob me. And so I think all these wild things, all because a girl is attractive. So if you're an attractive girl listening out there thinking, well, I'm going to talk to Angel, surely he won't react that way if I reach out to him. Guess what, bitch? I probably will. I may have some confidence here, but I will always distrust you. We could even get married and have a family ever so often when we're in bed together and you're sleeping and we're back to back. I'm going to peek over at you and I'm thinking, what is this long con that she's doing? Has she taken out a life insurance policy on me? Is she poisoning me in my sleep? What's her end game here? And I don't know if I'll truly ever be content. Now, if I get a girl who, like I said earlier, is a 6, personality bumped up to a 7, primo. But if a girl's already an 8 or a 9 or God forbid a 10, and she's, quote unquote being genuine with me, nope. Too good to be true. It's just like in sports or politics or whatever. When anything is too good to be true, it usually is. Like, I remember I thought I won this big jackpot on a scratch ticket. It was at work. I think I was at the bank at the time. And I scratched, and it said that I won $10,000. I lost my shit. And then I realized that it was a joke, and that everyone that got a card was winning $10,000, and it wasn't really a thing. It was just a joke. They were joke cards. One of my coworkers got us all. They goofed us, baby. So, and that's when I was like, oh, that's right. Too good to be true. However, every now and then, something that's too good to be true, in fact, turns out okay. Like The Mandalorian. I thought, this show sounds too good to be true. The trailer looks perfect. This show is going to be bunk. Guess not. It's an amazing show. I just watched the Bill Burr episode 2.0. The Believer or whatever. It's an amazing show. Now, I love Bill Burr. He may be my favorite comedian, one of my favorite podcasters, and he's a decent actor. And I just like his outlook on things. And so his character in that episode was peak Bill Burr. And it was great that they gave Bill Burr a little bit of action scenes because, he in movies and TV shows, he's usually playing, a goon or an asshole or, he's typecast. I mean, he was in a few episodes of The Chappelle Show back in the day, but, he was in, Breaking Bad, obviously. He played one of the goons, like I said earlier, but he was in a bunch of other movies, but always as the asshole in the one scene or whatnot. Of course, he has a show F is for Family on Netflix, which is, I love it. It's an animated comedy. Maybe some people don't like it, and that's fine, but I do. I like the sense of humor. But the big movie that he was in this year that I haven't seen yet is The King of Staten Island. So maybe I'll watch that. Maybe I'll watch it tonight. He's never really been in an action scene before. So good on you, Bill Burr. Cheers. You are an amazing Mandalorian. I hope you come back. I gotta tell you, this new season of Mandalorian is so good. I cannot wait. I think there's 2 or 3 episodes left. They're teasing a Avengers Justice League type team up. I mean, they already got, spoiler alert, if you're not watching Mandalorian, you're not caught up yet. Skip the next couple, whatever. So they already got Boba Fett. I think they're going to get Ahsoka. And I think they're going to get the other Mandalorian, the chick. What's her name? Oh, forget her name from Rebels. Oh, what's her name? The girl from Battlestar Galactica. She voiced the character in Rebels too. You know who I'm talking about. And I think they're going to go get the other characters from season 1. They're still alive. Cara Dune and the black guy. Oh, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, they're teasing it. I'm so excited. But since they're talking about TV shows, I'll put the notepad away here. Lovecraft County, I keep saying it wrong. Lovecraft Country is such a bumbling train wreck of a TV show. I don't even want to finish it. But I'm only 2 episodes away. But I haven't enjoyed the last 3 episodes. But I'm the kind of sack of foolish shit here that once I start something, I have to see it through. Even though I could give a shit about all of the characters and the plot in this show, I have to watch the end episode. I have to see how it gets resolved. And I've already looked at the last episode in terms of reviews and whatnot. I didn't read what happened, but I just like to see what did the critics and the audience have to say. Everyone says it's poopy. So I'm not looking forward to it. The show is over the top. Sometimes they're trying to be like Twilight Zone. Then they're trying to be like True Blood. And then they're trying to be like something unique and new. But then they go back to these old cliche things. Like, I get it. It's a period piece following a bunch of blacks in 1950. So I understand there's going to be a tumultuous, racist, over theme going around the show. I get it. But does every white male in the show have to be a complete evil cunt? Every single one? There's not one white guy on the show that's not evil. He doesn't have to be a good character. He just has to be not evil. Impossible. Drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. So yeah. Fuck Lovecraft Country, but I'm going to keep watching it because I'm a fool. And yeah, let's move on here. What's next on the list here? I think this is the last one. So I think I'm going way too long here. If you're offended by Anne Hathaway's character in that Witches movie, go fuck yourself. Oh, I forgot about that one. I think it's Netflix or Disney or HBO. I'll just name every streaming service. Whatever that Anne Hathaway movie is, Witches, she had to apologize for playing a witch that had claws for hands. Because apparently there's a very powerful witch and missing limb lobby that was saying, this makes us look bad. Well, first off, it's a movie about witches, so go fuck yourself. Number 2, witches aren't real. Number 3, if you have missing limbs and you're offended by someone in a movie that doesn't have missing limbs playing a character with missing limbs, how sad is your life? It's just like, this is why Trump won. This is why people hate the left. They hate PC culture. They hate anything that starts off as good, like the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter. And then pretty soon, assholes ruin the whole movement, and that becomes the rhetoric going forward. So if you ask anybody that's over the age of, 40 or so, what's your opinion on Me Too, or what's your opinion on Black Lives Matter, or God forbid, what's your opinion on Antifa, you know what you're going to get. Just nonsense. Because that's what the media is telling everybody. And so everyone has to freak out, and it's always like damage control, damage control, damage control. So when Anne Hathaway is in a movie where she's playing, I don't know, I didn't see the movie. So for the sake of the argument, I'm going to say she has 3 fingers. I don't know how many fucking fingers she has. She's playing a 3-fingered witch, and everyone, not everyone, but a large group of people, it may not even be large. They could just be very loud minority people. I'm not saying minority based on race or anything. I'm saying they're in the minority of being upset. You white people got to chill. There is a large group of white people that think that all white people are evil because of, history. But it's only white people that have ever been evil. No other race has ever done anything evil but just whites. and that you have to force all this crazy non-shit down our throats because we have to make up for it. We have to make up for it. How about you just acknowledge it happened and try to live a better life going forward, you know? Ugh. Anyway, this fucking Anne Hathaway thing is making me go off the rails here. Yeah. I don't get this cancel culture nonsense. Anne Hathaway never should have apologized. You know what Anne Hathaway should have done when she heard about it? Just laughed and not even addressed it. Or if it got vocal enough, she should have got on Twitter and said, all you babies are upset about this movie, don't watch it. Don't watch it. In fact, go work on yourselves. Go look in the mirror and find out what the real problem is. I just don't get the mindset of these people that will try their hardest to find something that's wrong with you or wrong with a product and try to quote unquote cancel it. I don't get it. I think it's dying down because, they're frauds. They're assholes. And people aren't as stupid as they once were. I mean, they're stupid still in a different way, but not as stupid when it comes to this as they once were. All right, now the turmeric's balls are broken up. No, it's pretty good. The problem with turmeric, though, it makes my sinuses run and I get a little mucusy. So I'm constantly swallowing phlegm and shit and my nose is draining. But it's healthy for you, and it tastes good. What are you going to do? But yeah, just like on that jabroni that got hired from SNL, Shane Gillis, and then these fucking assholes went online and said, oh, he said the word gook in an interview a long time ago, and then he got canceled. He got kicked off of Saturday Night Live before he even started. And, now he's more famous than he probably ever would have been on SNL. And I'm just like, who gives a fuck? It was a podcast. He made a joke. It wasn't funny. He made a joke, though. Who cares? Move on. And it's so stupid. Enough is enough. If something is awful, like, hey, we found out that 5 years ago you murdered somebody, well, then yeah, that person should be canceled. But if it's like an Al Franken type situation, it's insanity. It is crazy. We all need to chill and acknowledge people make mistakes, specifically when they're young and stupid. I mean, I went to a party in 2002, 2003, dressed as a Muslim couple with my buddy. Would that be okay in 2020? Hell no, I'd be crucified. However, I acknowledge it. I still think it's funny. But I know I can't do it. I wanted to go as Rick Ross for Halloween a couple of years ago, and I didn't think me being in blackface was a big deal because it was for Halloween. Well, obviously, it was a good decision on my part not to do that. But if they found photos of me in high school in blackface, and everyone's like, cancel Angelo, fuck his podcast, fire him. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Have you never done anything wrong before? Or you haven't done anything wrong that hasn't aged well? Get out of here. Just put that rope around your neck and kick the chair out, man. We don't need more of you. If your focus in life is causing havoc and chaos and harm and trouble for other people and they don't really deserve it, if that's your goal in life, then you're the problem. You're part of the problem in this country. Enough. Stop putting your own insecurities and your own failures as a human being on other people. Focus on yourself. Go to the marijuana store, buy a joint, go home, light some candles, put on some Sturgill Simpson, light up the J, drink some wine, and just take 4 deep breaths. And if you still feel like a dildo afterwards, then you know. You're just a dildo. What are you going to do about it? But I think, in the long run, this is going to get better. Anyway, I'm done with that ramble. I think it's time to wrap up. Enough of this notes. In closing, I want to talk about this new book I'm starting to read. This book has been on my bookshelf probably a year and a half, but because I don't read as much as I used to, hard books, I mean, I still do audiobooks like crazy, but this is Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It by Gary Taubes. Very popular book. I know the author was going around a bunch of podcasts. I think I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and it's amazing. It's an amazing book. I should have been reading it years ago, but what are you going to do? It is about how, really, the misconceptions about losing weight in this country. In fact, let me just read the back here. Building upon his critical work in Good Calories, Bad Calories, and presenting fresh evidence for his claim, Gary Taubes, that is Taubes, revisits the urgent question of what's making us fat and how can we change. Tobbs reveals the bad nutritional science of the last century. None more damaging or misguided than the calories in, calories out model of why we get fat, and the good science that has been ignored. This damn turmeric is killing me. I'm going to drink some water here. He also answers the most persistent questions. Why are some people thin and others fat? What roles do exercise and genetics play in our weight? What foods should we eat and what foods should we avoid? Persuasive, straightforward, and practical. Why We Get Fat is an essential guide to nutrition and weight management. Highly recommend it. Now, I'm only 60 or so pages in, but it's not a self-help book. I want to get that point across. So far, it's been pretty much a historical book, looking at how did we get to the point of where it's all calories, calories, calories. Where, hey, for some people that works just fine. But for the mass majority of people that I know in my life that have tried their whole lives to lose weight, it's not just calories. Now, I don't want to spoil anything in case y'all want to get the book, which, again, highly recommend. It has so much more to do with what food you're eating, not how many calories you're eating. How's your sleep? How's your exercise? Durka, and genetics. Genetics, man, you can get fucked in life just on genetics. But anyway, well, I think on that happy note, it's time to wrap things up. I think the next podcast or so, I'm going to focus on Christmas. A little spoiler, a little teaser. I want to talk about my favorite Christmas movies, Christmas when I was a kid, and Christmas now. I'll give you a little bit more of a teaser. So, I don't feel like it's Christmas this year. I'm probably not the only one that thinks like that. This is the first year in this ginormous house that I'm living in. But I really didn't feel the urge to go buy Christmas lights or buy outdoor decoration. I haven't put up my Christmas tree yet. It's in my crawl space, in the basement there. I do have 3 poinsettias because I love me some plants. 1 big boy from Costco and 2 little boys from Trader Joe's. And you know what? Maybe I will put the Christmas tree out today. But I'm not getting that Christmas spirit this year. COVID really dampened that. It'd be one thing if I was, with a family or something, or if I was having people over here a lot, then I would put a little bit more effort into the decorum, if you will. But it doesn't really feel like Christmas this year to me. Maybe I'm the only one, but I highly doubt it. So on that ho note, I love y'all. Hope everyone takes it easy. Check out the book again, Why We Get Fat, What to Do About It. Check out Turmeric and watch The Mandalorian. I love y'all, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.